The late 1800s were a time of great change in Africa. The continent, rich in culture and natural resources, was on the brink of a transformation that would alter its history forever. European powers were eager for land and resources. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 formalized this scramble for Africa, with European nations drawing arbitrary borders. This new form of colonialism brought hardship to many people. Traditional societies were disrupted and local economies were reoriented to serve European interests. East Africa was no exception. The region, with its strategic coastal ports and fertile lands, attracted the attention of several European powers. The arrival of the Germans in East Africa was a turning point. They sought to establish a firm grip on the region, using military force to subdue any opposition. The local people organized themselves into resistance movements, using guerrilla tactics to harass and challenge the German forces. Despite the pressures of colonial rule, many East African communities strove to preserve their cultural heritage. The spirit of resistance burned brightly in their hearts, paving the way for the independence of East African nations. The German East Africa Company was at the forefront of German colonialism in East Africa. Established in 1884, the company was tasked with administering and exploiting the region for its resources. This intrusion into the traditional way of life did not sit well with the local population. The company's practices, often harsh and exploitative, sowed the seeds of discontent. They demanded forced labor and imposed heavy taxes, fueling resentment among the indigenous communities. This resentment grew with each passing day. The company's presence disrupted the delicate social fabric of East African societies. Traditional leaders saw their authority undermined, and the people suffered under the weight of oppression. It was a recipe for rebellion. From the coastal town of Pangani in present-day Tanzania, a leader emerged. This town, with its rich history and vibrant culture, was the birthplace of a man who would become a beacon of hope and resistance. His name was Abushiri Ibn Salim al-Harthi, a man of mixed Arab and African descent. Born into a world where cultures intertwined, Abushiri embodied the spirit of unity and resilience. Abushiri became a symbol of hope for his people. His presence alone inspired confidence and determination among the villagers, who saw in him a leader capable of challenging the status quo. He was a respected trader with a deep understanding of the coastal communities. His knowledge of trade routes and local customs made him a pivotal figure in the region's economy, earning him respect and admiration. Outraged by the injustices inflicted upon his people, Abushiri took up the mantle of resistance. The German colonial forces had imposed harsh taxes and brutal policies, causing widespread suffering and unrest. He saw the suffering caused by the Germans and knew he had to act. The sight of his people in distress, subjected to cruelty and exploitation, fueled his resolve to fight back. He was a charismatic leader who inspired others to join his cause. His speeches, filled with passion and conviction, rallied the people and ignited a spark of rebellion.
We cannot stand idly by while our people suffer. Abushiri's words echoed through the hearts of many, stirring a collective sense of urgency and action. We must rise up and reclaim our land and our freedom. His call to arms was not just a plea but a command, a directive to take back what was rightfully theirs.
Abushiri's call to arms resonated with many. The coastal villages, once fragmented and disheartened, began to unite under his leadership, finding strength in their shared struggle. He promised to drive out the Germans and restore freedom to their land. His vision of a liberated East Africa, free from colonial oppression, gave the people a clear and compelling goal. His message spread like wildfire, uniting diverse communities under the banner of resistance. From town criers to village meetings, the call for freedom echoed across the land, bringing together people from all walks of life in a unified front against their oppressors. In August 1888, tensions erupted. The people of East Africa, under the German East Africa Company, decided to push back. Abushiri and local leaders launched a well-coordinated uprising, catching the Germans off guard. Early victories galvanized the local population, giving them hope and momentum.
We have shown our strength and unity. This is our land, and we will fight for it.
News of victories spread, inspiring more to join. The movement was gaining momentum.